Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the Paul Pluta channel. Today guys, I want to talk about flexing. And I gotta be totally honest with you, flexing is something this hobby seems to have a lot of. Flexing is showing off what you have. And I gotta be honest with you, one of the negative things in this hobby is so much showcasing. People show off what they have. And I've never really taken direction from other people, what other people think is cool. I make my own decisions. And I gotta be totally honest with you, the big problem is with social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It becomes a situation where so many people highlight the great aspects of their life, and it normalizes extreme consumerism. It normalizes extreme consumerism. And that's really sad, because a lot of these people, they're flexing, showing off. If you join the Rolex forums, many of the Rolex forums, look at me, I just bought this. Look at me, I just bought that. I bought this. And nobody kind of says, hang on a minute, I'm actually going to downsize for happiness. I'm going to buy what I really like and get rid of the surplus. No one says that. They seem to consume more. And I got to be totally honest with you, with my own collection itself there, I've tended to avoid the hype, the super hype stuff. Well, mainly because it's exorbitantly priced. I don't have money to waste. And what I've tried to do myself is, with my Rolex collection, I've tried to go for the premise steel sports. Steel sports. I like to have steel sports. So I like to have a Rolex diver. I like to have a Rolex GMT function watch. I like to have a wind and wear. I like blue, with a blue, just a simple blue dial watch. And very fortunate to have my Sky Dweller. This was a gift, but I think it's the perfect celebratory. I think the Sky Dweller kind of took the mantle from the Day. It was Rolex's very top-end watch. And I love it in steel. I love it in steel with a white dial, for the simple fact that with the white dial steel, it doesn't stand out as, look at me. It's a very under the radar. Yes, it's a Rolex. Yes, it's a Sky Dweller, but it's not a obnoxious piece. And I got to be totally honest with you. So many people in this hobby like to showboat and flex and show off their achievements. And I mean, there's a very fine line. There's a very fine line between having self-esteem, self-worth, and being proud of your achievements, and rubbing it in people's faces and saying, I'm so much better than you because I could buy this. I don't think that's cool. I don't think it's cool to show off or showboat. And it's kind of strange. I think in some ways there, we all can be guilty of it. And I think you've got to be conscious of the things you have, and you've got to be conscious that a lot of people can't afford this stuff. You have to be very aware of that. You've got to be very aware of that. So I would really say myself, I would say myself that it is difficult. It is really difficult. It's difficult because we're in a time in history where we've never been so wealthy, we've never had so much, but we've got so many people with so little. The world has really changed. We now have a situation where having a house to live in is a luxury. The rental market around the world, in the developed world, is very tight. It's hard to rent a place, yet alone buy Rolex, and it's a very tricky thing that we've found ourselves in. And I've got to be honest with you. I went on a program, a live stream with Timepiece Gentleman. That's Anthony Farah. It had Roman Sheriff. It had Paul Thorpe, and they were showing off their magnificent. And I just brought my Milgauss. I wore my Milgauss. I just thought, steel Milgauss. And, they just kind of looked at, it's a nothing watch. They had one-off Pateks. Nico was there as well. And I think we lose sight of the fact that a lot of people in this hobby can barely get a steel sports Rolex, yet alone the super rare, incredible pieces. And I think that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that the hobby has gone this way. We constantly want to flex and show off, and I don't know, is it to say, look, I'm better than you, I'm more superior to you? What is the reasoning behind this? That is a very tricky thing. That's incredibly tricky. And it's something that is it's beyond tricky. It is really beyond tricky. It's beyond tricky. This hobby that we have here, we want so much more. If you compare the collections from 20 years ago to today, 20 years ago, I remember people said to me, because I was mainly a Rolex collector, I had about 6 Rolexes, and people said, why do you have all Rolexes? And I was kind of the freak. And people said, oh, you have a PAM, you have a IWC, you get a, you buy things like that, and it was kind of frowned. Why would you Rolex is not that great. That was kind of frowned upon. And how the worm has turned. And typical collections 20 years ago was sort of a typical collection. A good collection would be 3 or 4 good watches, steel sports. I'm not talking precious metal, and 3 or 4 semi-shitters. So a good collection 20 years ago, you'd have a Submariner, maybe you'd have a GMT, you'd have an Omega Speedmaster, and then you'd have some, a little bit cheaper shit like some Tag Heuer. You would have maybe a Chrono Swiss, some entry, significantly cheaper, because it's so much money to put into the hobby. Whereas now, people having 20 pieces or 10 pieces, like all Rolex or all expensive, that doesn't seem to be such a big deal. And this is the whole thing. The worm has turned. The worm has turned, and I just put a jumper on. And I gotta tell you, man, the thing is, these days, people have so much wealth. They're buying so many watches, they're buying so much stuff, and sometimes it's easy to get bogged down in this. And for a lot of people out there, it's very hard to get one decent watch. It's very difficult. So don't ever lose sight of those facts, because the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook, everybody shows off their watches, but the reality, it may not be what it seems. So all I want to say is, guys, be content in what you like. In my case, let me tell you, I've decided to say, righto, Archie boy, I'm going to be steel sports Rolexes predominantly, Patek in precious metal, and I always like a speedy, and a Reverso, a Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. So I've got a collection that works for me without going crazy, because there is so much money in this hobby. Don't forget that a lot of people cannot survive with the consumption. So just be aware of that. And go with the flow. Guys, that's the video for today. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you in the next one. Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW. Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and today guys, I'm very proud to introduce a new sponsor of the ArchieLuxury and the Paul Pluta channels. Who am I talking about? watchshopping.com. Check them out, guys. Jump online, check out watchshopping.com. These guys here have been in business since 2017. Worldwide shipping and distribution. Over 10,000 wristwatches in inventory. Stock in hand, and 90 plus different brands, new and pre-owned. Now, the good thing about watchshopping.com, trusted by over 4,000 reviews on Chrono24 and Trustpilot. Your one-stop shop to buy any watch your heart desires. Please, guys, check out watchshopping.com. I'm ArchieLuxury, and check out watchshopping.com. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury on the YouTube sensation, the Paul Pluta channel. Guys, I need you to help me out, guys. I can't survive on Google Ads alone. I need you to request a paid review. $50 US, look down in the description. $50 US, I will review your collection. I'll tell you what I think of it, and I'll give you some pointers. The other thing is, guys, you can sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a couple bucks a month, $1, $2, $5, whatever you want, and it keeps me going on YouTube, because, guys, I'm in a niche. Nobody can make money out of the views I get. The views are crap because it's a small specialized area, and I don't talk about garbage for the sake of views. Guys, sponsor me on Patreon. Look down below, and I will see you in the next one.